Hey everybody, welcome back to Minor Stuff. I'm Matt.
I'm Pat.
We're the Minor Brothers. And today we're going over travel humidors. Let's get into it.
Alright, welcome back everybody. Thanks for stopping by, checking us out. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to us. Give this video a like for us, help us get that algorithm going, and also comment down below if what you use for a case. We love seeing what everybody else uses, and other ideas are always great to have. Matt, before we get into our cases, what are we drinking today?
A little bit of Four Roses, single barrel proof. This stuff is
phenomenal.
Freaking great. It's so delicious. Alright, Pat. So we're getting into a little bit of man shit today.
Yes.
And we're going over, so this is something we've already done on our Patreon page. So we cover a lot more stuff like this on Patreon.
We're not allowed to cover it here.
Because we're not allowed to cover here. So we're going to be very careful with sort of where we go here, because we're not going to be really talking about cigars and stuff like that, because that's obviously a no-go. So however, if you guys want to find more of this type of content, we do that on our Patreon page.
Yep.
So we're talking travel humidors, because you know what? If you're going to carry around good cigars with you, you need to keep them humidified and protected. And that's what these little cases are. So there's two different cases. We got the little travel. I got the bigger case. We got the smaller case. These are actually both my cases. I have two.
We both have a big case, and we both have small cases. My small case is double the size of this, though.
Yeah. So we do flavored or flavor infused cigars. So like your acid Cuba Cubas or Blondies or something like that. In the smaller case. That way they don't ruin the good cigars in your other case.
Yep.
But you can also, if you're just brand new into getting cigars, don't get a 30 count like this. Go get the 5 count and, have a place to sort of start at. So we'll start with you, Pat, in the 5 count.
All right, so this is just a nice little teeny guy. Pop it open, and we were talking about putting this, Matt, in the whiskey traveling case you made as well.
And I
check that video out above our head if you can. So let me take these out of there so we don't get in trouble for any of that stuff. So it's just a nice little small case, padding the top and the bottom, has a little spot for humidification up here.
So we found that one doesn't really work. Right?
Yeah, it doesn't maintain.
We swear by the Boveda packs.
Yep. So besides Matt's cutting me off, that's what we're about to say is we don't use this little guy up here. Use a Boveda pack, you'll be much happier. This will not maintain your humidification that well that we found. It just always is well below it for us. And this is a nice little case. Now this will hold a bunch of cigars, or I like to do 2-3 cigars and your cutter and your lighter in here. We've actually got a new lighter that we prefer that has a little punch on the bottom.
Yeah,
so that way you don't have to carry a cutter as well, because the cutter takes up space. That's what it comes down to. This doesn't have a lot of space, but this is perfect. It'll fit in a pocket, stick out a little bit, but it will fit in a pocket in case you want to, bring something.
That's how I brought cigars to his wedding. Actually, absolutely. I put that in my suit pocket, and it was great.
It was fantastic.
So, and then once you're ready to step up, once you start carrying more. I carry this with me basically all the time in case I was going to share some at work.
Yep.
Which I usually often do or whatever. You get a good group of guys who all just want to sit down, have a cigar, talk about pondering life and all that other good stuff. So this one also starts off with the humidification packet up top, which, like I said, doesn't really work that great. So we stick with the Boveda. Then we got styrofoam on the top. Now I keep a lot of the different lighters and punches and cutters. The perfect draw tool, which I think is great. Zico lighter, which is now one of our favorites.
It's a quad torch lighter.
That's obviously out of fuel right now. And it's got the little punch in the bottom. So this, when I'm using just this case, I'll just put this in there because that's really all I need. And then the Cuban Crafters. This is a really good cigar cutter if you don't know how to really cut cigars, because you can't screw it up. You put the cigar in, it's not going to overcut.
For more information on all these cutters, check us out over on Patreon, because it's going to be going up on Patreon soon. So over all that good stuff.
Yeah, so then we just have a piece of flat styrofoam. And then as we get into it, you'll see I keep a Boveda pack on every level. I think you do the same in yours.
Yeah, one Boveda pack isn't enough for those cases, so I've had to put one in each level.
And then basically there's multiple levels here, because as you can see, this thing is packed. And then you get ripples in your next thing is styrofoam, so it sort of can line up for each one. And then as we keep going down, more Boveda packs, and then, just more levels. So it's got a couple levels. And I usually, they say you can do a 30 count in this. I'm not a big one on going right up to that 30 number. I keep realistically closer to like I don't know, maybe 15 or so in at a time. But these are great because I have dropped this off of the firehouse that we were at has 2 stories but open to the garage, and I've dropped this from the very top railing all the way down to the garage. And you know what? This thing's got some scratches and whatever else, but it held together. There's no breaks. This one's from Gurkha. That one's the Herfador. There's tons of different, makers of these types of things.
I will say my only complaint with them is, especially with that one, you can carry some money in there, and you want to be able to secure and lock it. It does have holes for a lock, but they're not big enough.
Super small for you can't get a regular master lock in.
This little guy here has a nice little teeny one as well. It's got actually 2, one on the end and then one right here. But again, I can't get a lock in there unless it's like a suitcase lock, which, come on, that's retarded. So, this one, there's no room to drill it out. You can't do any of that. That one, you could drill it out a little bit bigger.
A little bit, but not by much.
But not by much. So that's my only downside, I feel, to those, is it doesn't give you much security for,
But other than that, these cases are really good cases. Yeah. We use the same types of cases actually at work that we keep all the medications in an ambulance.
Yes.
Because they're waterproof. I mean, there is a little thing right here that you can open up to let some air out and whatever, but you keep it all the way shut. That way you keep your humidification in it. It shuts very, very tightly. Protects all your cigars. Protects basically everything, just like it does with the whiskey case.
Absolutely.
And like I said, this thing's been dropped. It's held together. This is going on, I want to say 2 or 3 years of carrying this type of thing. Mm-hmm. And they've been working out great. So once you get yourself to a right level, like I said, start with something small, work your way up to something big,
or just go big if you want to, because it's not that much more money.
It's really not that much money. It's just, you can't fit this in your pocket. You carry this around, everybody's looking at you, which I don't mind because, like I said, I share with half the people anyway. So.
Yep.
But anyways, that's our thing on travel humidors. Let us know down below what you guys end up using for a travel humidor, or what your setup ends up being. Thank you so much for watching us. Remember, on Mondays we're doing man shit. On Wednesdays we do cooking, and Fridays we do bourbon. We're going to be throwing a lot more extra stuff here and there.
And check us out over on Patreon as well for more content like this and related to these subjects as well.
Yes. So everybody, have a good day.